Hey, look at us sitting here in our brand new plush studio that we just laid out a ton of money on. So no more of that cheap looking stuff that we've been doing. This is our new studio.
From now on, this is how it's going to be forever.
We're getting mail here now. Actually, no, we're not this fancy. This is a studio at Gat3 Records in Charlotte, and we got to be a part of something that was so special to us, and we can't wait to tell you about it, and can't wait for you to see what we were part of. And Ace, this is probably one of the coolest things we've done in years.
Yeah, and I have to admit that when we came in to be a part of it, it's one of those things you're like, okay, we're going to go down and do this. It'll be fun, but it turned out to be a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and they didn't give us alcohol while we were doing it, which is the only thing I have to complain about. But there's always next year, So what it was is it's something called Atrium Health Has Talent, and it blew us away, the amount of talent that the people who work for Atrium Health have, and they put on display. And so in order to get, you caught up on what it's all going to be about, we wanted to have a conversation with some people here who were part of the whole thing. This is Glenn. He is the owner operator of Gat3 in our fancy studio here that doesn't really belong to us. It belongs to him. And this is Madeline, and she's in charge of the whole project, yelling camera speed and action and all of that. And then, I'm sorry, who are you again, sir?
I am Gene Woods.
Gene Woods, and he works at Atrium Health. And you're kind of you're the doorman.
He's new there. He's new.
No, he's the CEO of Atrium Health, and so for you to have time to come down and hang out with our silliness today is awesome. And
thanks for having me.
And first of all, I'm glad we finally met, because Glenn is driving me nuts, telling me how cool you are before we met. I think you got a man crush on him, don't you?
He's my hype man.
We made a lot of music together, Gene and I, and developed a good friendship, and it's been a blast. So I'm glad he could come down too.
So is that how this concept began, Gene? From your love of music, you're a musician, you're a writer, you're a singer, you're a producer. So did it all start from the fact that you've got 70,000 employees?
Yeah, we have 70,000 employees. Now, this actually started this idea of a talent show back in 2004.
Okay.
And so it was sort of migrated over the years. And I've been with the system for 6 years now. And when I first got here, they said, Mr. Woods, we do a talent show. And I'm a musician. So I was thinking in my head, I'm going to go to some cafeteria somewhere,
right,
and they're going to, move the chairs and the tables, and some people are going to sing with some bad microphones and stuff like that. And it turned out there was about 1,000 people at a downtown theater, and the talent was incredible, and the energy was incredible. And before that, we had picnics for the kids, and it was just a really wonderful event for our teammates.
Yeah.
And I said, there's something special here. And so that's sort of my first introduction. And then year by year, we sort of elevated it a little bit more. So before the pandemic, obviously, it was in person. And then we were trying to figure out, how do we do this during the pandemic and keep people safe? And so the teammates came to me and said, aren't you recording in some studio? Can we do maybe a video version or online version? And that kind of led to where we're at today.
70,000 employees. So to be the CEO of a company that has that many employees, I guess you probably need to go to school to get that kind of responsibility.
A few years of schooling.
And I guess you have to be good with people in some way or another.
Kind of be good with people.
I think I might want to do that. I'm at my age now. I could be a CEO of 70,000 employees.
I think so.
They let you take a nap in the afternoon, don't you? Because I still got to get that. I got to get that in.
I don't think I've taken a nap in 30 years.
Well, he starts early, though. So here's the thing that stood out to us in doing this, and we talked about it on the show, is the fact that you have these employees, and obviously they all have talent, or they wouldn't have been here. But more than that, when they talked about their job, and they had such an array of jobs, they did such different things, but down the line, every one of them spoke of their love of their job and how much concern they had in doing their job well because it was for people. It was helping people. No matter what their job was, it all came back to helping people. Yeah. How has that been fostered? What is it about Atrium that has fostered that mindset among employees?
Well, you were joking about CEO. My number one job is to really build and create a culture where everybody feels like they belong, they can live their best selves. And that's been really my principal focus. And what you heard, and you're right, you had physicians there, you had environmental service workers there, you had registrars there. And I think the creating an opportunity for them to tell their stories, we serve patients that come to us at really vulnerable times in their lives. What people don't realize is the teammates who serve them and are taking care of them, have also dealt with hardships and challenges and some of which you guys learn more about. And to create a space where it's okay to do that, and neighbors serving neighbors, and just I'm always speaking to bring your best selves to work. And this is about, for us, health, hope, and healing. So, we take care of millions of people every year. And so how do we bring health and hope and healing to each of the patients and communities? But also my obligation and our obligation is to do the same thing internally. And I think you got a sense for really how what our culture is internally, which was, I'm glad you got a chance to see.
And they all have this sense of pride, and like you said, it's everybody from physicians to the guy that goes and gets the patient from the car and pushes them into the building in the wheelchair. It's just everybody has this. We're a team. And whatever you're doing over there, I'm sure there'll be companies that would love to get the formula for that, because they really, hearing them perform and all, it's going to blow you away whenever you watch these people perform and hear how great they are. And you're going to think, I live amongst, those are people in my community that I live amongst that can do that. But also, the interviews that Glenn, that you did with them and brought out all of those things that they would talk about how, because, Atrium Health is a nonprofit, and to listen to them just bubble over with pride about what they do and how well they're treated at work and how well the patients are treated and how they get to be a part of it. And you had to be blown away when you were hearing these stories.
Oh, man.
For the first time.
This is the third year we've done this show here at the studio, and it's sort of evolved every year into what it's become now. And I can't wait for your audiences to check it out. It's going to be special. But equal to their talent is the humanity that they brought to the interviews. And we saw that develop as we sat down with them. And so that's why this year I said, let me just have a conversation with them. Let me just talk to them and see, just get in their head a little bit. Let them tell me about themselves. And they open up. And part of it's the creative atmosphere of the studio, I think.
Yeah.
That's a little freeing, and I'm not their boss, so so they can tell me things they may not want to share with somebody else. And we edit it down, but I spoke with each of them for 30, 40 minutes or an hour and a half, 2 hours, some of them. And so there's so much content there, and we have to kind of cut it down so it's a show, but the humanity of neighbors, like Gene said, these are neighbors taking care of neighbors in all the communities. And to hear their passion and love for other people, it's pretty touching,
Well,
man. And then, you guys saw.
But, I want to congratulate you for not only putting together such a huge project and having the people to do it, but being intelligent enough to make the decision to bring us into it this year. That was really good. On
the contracts you guys gave us, though, they were complicated.
Just put it over the top.
These are the decisions that just push people. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
And by
Madeline made me get you guys.
And by us, he means him. It doesn't mean me.
Yeah, so Madeline, when you sit down and start thinking about how you're going to shoot all of this and how you're going to make it look, because it looks like it would be on primetime TV. The production value to this is just incredible. How do you come up with how you want it to look?
I think the biggest thing to me, especially coming at it this year, we've done it, like he said, this is our third year doing it. We want these people to feel like they are rock stars, because they are. So that was really important that they got that treatment, that you would for anybody, celebrities. So that was important. And then also customizing it to them a little bit, making it unique to them. All of these different things have sort of shaped what it looks like. And then, of course, we got thrown curveballs when, they say, there's an aerialist coming in or something like that, and we have to make it work for everybody. But I think that's what makes the show so unique, is that there are so many different kinds of people and cultures, and I think that has shaped a lot of how we pulled it all together.
I was curious about something though when you mentioned there are a lot of different performers, but there was a dancer and an aerialist. Was that something you had filmed before, or did you have to go, okay, let me research this? Because I know you filmed a lot of musicians, but that had to be, especially the aerialist, something unique. How did you plan for prep for that? Did you look something up or just kind of feel it out once you were in the room?
So we actually have filmed aerial before.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm actually
The
experienced in
infamous
the
Gat3
Lyra.
Christmas parties.
Yeah, I've been to one of those. And there was a Ferris wheel out of the parking lot.
That's right.
What happens at those parties stays at those parties.
But every act is different. So the aerialist, Kayla, she was great. She, sent us her routine, and we sort of planned out each shot and, what is that going to look like? So, everything that we do for every contestant, we really want to, again, emphasize customizing it to them, and letting them have their moment.
Yeah, and you could tell they loved having the professional makeup done and the wardrobe, and and when you walk in this place, you're like, this is a professional, big time organization here. There are the Grammys in the building here. You have them at home.
We have them locked away.
Okay. Oh yeah,
I can't say that on TV, Ace. And TJ, I can't tell y'all where they're at.
So, Gene, they said that next year you're going to do an aerialist act. You'll be-
I have a lot of practicing to do.
So talk about musically, artistically, and the talent that you have is obviously evident, but why is this an important thing? Or what makes it so important to Atrium? Because you don't hear of a lot of companies going to the lengths that you've gone to here to create an incredible show to keep this thing going.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was mentioned. These are folks that come from, we have hospitals in Georgia, in Alabama, here in North Carolina. So what I love about it, you have 10 different markets that have their own little talent shows. And, locally you might have a CEO or president of this hospital and a local celebrity. And so there, we had 13 finalists that came from all over the system. And it's just, the pandemic has been so challenging for healthcare workers, as you all know. And to give an opportunity to let your hair down, to vote for, your favorite, person in your hospital, and then to see them perform, and it's a really good feel-good moment for the whole enterprise.
Yeah. I got choked up a few times. I don't know if they told
you
you
one
that.
time. It was kind
I
of
saw
weird.
that you can't help, because the thing is, again, each of the 70,000 teammates has their own story, and what we get to do is showcase that story, and it's just, just like each of the patients that we see have a story, and it's, you said it best. I think it's just, there's something human about it, and I'm always looking for opportunities to lift people up and recognize them. And you mentioned it, to have somebody come into this Grammy Award winning studio and be treated like a rock star, be welcomed so authentically and warmly, it's something that they will remember for the rest of their lives. And then we have this big show, and they're sitting around their families and their friends, and it's just a magical moment for the whole enterprise.
You used a good word, authentic.
Yeah.
They all seemed so authentic. And one of the things I think when everybody watches the show that you'll see is that what blows you away is the level of talent, because having done similar things before, we were driving down that day and I was like, okay, it's going to be 13. We'll probably get like a couple, maybe 3 that are really good. One's going to be head and shoulders above the rest, and the others we'll just kind of make our way through it and say something nice. And right out of the box, the first one I thought, okay, well maybe they put the best one first. Okay, I'm gonna give and then the next one you're like, okay, wait a minute, this is by the third person you're going, all right, we're at a whole different level of talent here. Everybody's phenomenal, but again, I go back to not only were they great talents, but they all seem, and I can't overstate that enough, they all seem like such great people,
Yeah.
which really speaks to the environment that Atrium has created, that you've created within Atrium.
Thank you. I mean, I think they are, and none of them were scripted, obviously, because Glenn is just
Yeah, they're
asking
just
them questions
talking.
about who they are, why they love working at Atrium, and it's something that you have to tend to that culture every single day, right? And this is one of the ways that we do that. But I am the best part of my job is when I get to round at one of our hospitals and just talk to nurses and talk to folks and just hear their stories. It picks me up. It's almost like selfish because it gives me energy more so than it might give them. But this is truly something that. It's also a great recruiting tool, right? For me, because this has a lot of cachet, and I'm hearing from colleagues across the country and people get visibility. What is it like to work at Atrium? Well, this is what it's like to work at Atrium.
Well, you better be ready from now on when you're making those rounds to be bombarded with people asking you what I'm like in person. Like, is he really that cool in person and all that? And so yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. So how will they be able to watch it? It goes up the 26th.
August
right?
26th, yes.
Okay.
At 7
p.m.
7 p.m. Yeah.
And it's atriumhealth.org
/ talent show.
Yeah. So
Okay.
really easy.
And we'll provide links and all that kind of stuff on all of our stuff
Yeah.
so everybody can check it out, make it easy for everybody. Going forward, looking ahead, outside of the talent world, you mentioned, the healthcare challenges these days.
Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges that you face going forward?
Well, we talked about talent. Right now there's a shortage of nurses, a shortage of physicians. So I think really, now fortunately, we're together with Wake Forest University, and we have 2 nursing schools. We're building a new medical school in Charlotte. A lot of people are really excited about. We've got an innovation district that we're in the process of launching. So how do we continue to recruit the best and brightest, and also promote the best and brightest when there's a labor shortage throughout the country? They'll be with us for years. So I think we're in a really good position because we're growing our own. And I think the most important part of that, which is what we've been talking about, is creating a culture where everyone feels they belong. I mean, we have folks from the most rural parts. You mentioned you grew up in Louisiana, 6,000 people. We have teammates and patients that come from the most rural parts of the state, others that live in downtown Charlotte, and to create an organization that everybody feels like they belong. We talk about being for all, that we're here for all, certainly outside our walls and patients that come, but we're also for all inside our walls. And I think that's if we can continue through forums like this to let people know that that's the type of organization we are, then we're going to recruit more folks, we're going to retain more folks, to get more folks that really understand the heart and soul of Atrium Health.
Yeah, and the diversity of their performances
Yes.
says a lot too for the diversity of Atrium Health itself. You talk about the rural and the city, and because the performances went from really, really big soul to bluegrass to a traditional Indian performance, and so all of that just comes through as well. And to be honest with you, if I were a young person looking to pick a career or where am I going next with my life, and I saw the show, I would say, I want to work for Atrium Health. But I'm pretty squeamish about, I can't see it. and
Plenty of opportunities in other
And
areas.
Lord knows I'm not
other
a young person that would fit into that category.
But you don't just have to draw blood and do all that kind of stuff. We have accountants, we have electricians, we have all kinds of folks. It's
Lots of
opportunities.
one of the musical groups that performed were the accountants. I think they did. Well, I don't know if that's their true title. They did stuff with numbers. I knew that.
They sure did.
Yeah, and I'm good to count how many members were in the band.
You're right.
I'm not good with numbers.
It's pretty cool what Atrium's done in the culture that they've created, and that Gene certainly led that drive to do so. We wanted to make that event, like Madeline said, super special for them, and make it as individualistic and focused as possible for them. What I found over those 3 years is they give us more than we give them. Just for me to be with them, our whole team, when they leave, we talk about it, after we kind of evaluate, and we're like, man, what they brought to us We can't give them enough here in our studio.
You feel better having interviewed them.
Oh,
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
We talked about that afterwards.
Absolutely.
We felt better. Like you watch their little vignette and you're like, oh wow. It's uplifting to see each little vignette because you find out so much about the person. And then you find out just what a good person everybody, they all do so many different things, but they're each a really good person. Just in that couple of minutes that you get to know them, it really pops through on the camera.
And that's really
consistent.
what we want to have come through. When you come to the hospital and you come through the emergency room, we probably have during the stay, it could be 30, 40, 50 people that you interact with, right? And they're all focused on you, making sure you get better, making sure you're okay, making sure your family's okay. And this kind of shows a little bit about who they are. And I think that's going back to the humanity we're trying to convey.
Well, TJ mentioned him earlier. One of the guys you're going to see in the show is again, he talks about, I'm the first person they see because when they pull up and I come out with the wheelchair to get them, he goes, I know they're in pain or they're hurt. Obviously they're not having a good day because they're going to the hospital. And he talked about how important it was that he put on a good face and have a smile on his face and welcome them and let them know we're going to take care of you here and try to set them at ease. And if the person that does that, takes so much pride in the fact that I'm the first person you see, so I'm going to set the tone here that you're going to have a good stay at whatever Atrium facility you're at. That says a lot about the culture of Atrium.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Really
I'm
does.
so proud of my people. I'm so proud of the team. And I get to get inspired by them every single day, not just when we come here and have them do their thing. It's the biggest privilege and to be in a position where I get to see that type of commitment, authenticity, really love for teammates and really the people that we get to care for. So,
And we appreciate y'all letting us be a part of it this year.
We were honored to have you.
It was a lot of fun, and it was also a touching experience as well.
So what you're going to see when you see the show, it's obviously some incredible talent. The talent level will blow you away, but you're also going to be blown away by just the people themselves. You're going to hear some incredible stories, and we hope that you'll take the time to check out Atrium Health Has Talent, because it really is much more than just a talent show. It's a lot more than just a talent show. And again, how do they see it again?
atriumhealth.org
/ talent show.
Talent show.
All right, atriumhealth.org / talent show, which airs on the 26th.
So it's
At
7 o'clock.
At 7.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank y'all very much. I know
you guys for having us.
you got a nap to take, Gene. Thanks for cutting out a little time for us today, in between golf and tennis or whatever.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you both being part of it and made it extra special.
Our pleasure. Thank you.